Okay. And Islam, just for as far as the youth all as well, just make sure they just don't hit the cameras and things like that. We know that she's up, she's moving. Praise Allah. There's a bathroom in the back, just a heads up, okay? All right. Mothers holding their children, if you're sleeping, you can remain seated if it's easier for you. We're going to rise and face the east. Heels together, forming a 90-degree angle. 5 fingers on our left hand and 2 fingers on our right hand. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
The Father of love.
Truth.
Peace. Freedom.
And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. His holy prophet.
Through Ali.
Amen. First and foremost, I rise and give praises to Allah, Father of the universe, Father of the five highest principles known to man: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I give honors to our divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Savior of humanity. I give honors to our forerunner, Brother Marcus Messiah, who said, "Up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will." I give honors to all the past Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honors to all officials, national, state, and local. I give honors to a Grand Sheikh and moderator at this time, Brother R. Jones Bey, for the work that he is doing. May Allah bless him. I give honors to his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins. I give honors to the Grand Governor here in the state of New York, Brother D. Clark Ill, and his assistant, Brother A. Gainison. I give honors to our Grand Sheikh here at Temple number 34, Brother Y. Cyrus Ill. I give honors to our Assistant Grand Sheikh, Brother W. Clendenin Bay. I give honors to our Chairman, Brother Steve Ferguson Ill. I give honors to our Secretary here, Sister J. Jordan Ill, and her assistant, Sister W. Harmony Bay. I give honors to all of those who are working for the uplift and the full of humanity. I give honors to all of our visitors that we have here today. I'm going to turn your attention to the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Salvation, our God, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. Grand Sheikh and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, 2905 Southeast Washington, D.C., 20032. At this time, I'm going to turn your attention to the Quran questions for Moorish Americans, found on page 7, are the additional laws for the Moorish Americans by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand Sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses, each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Before acting upon by any members, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he'll be fined $1, which will go in your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift a nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. I'm going to turn your attention to the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. All right, and we're going to read exactly from page 55, chapter number 44, Holy Instruction from the Prophet, Misery.
Yeah, that's what you.
Just give you all a moment to kind of settle in. If you haven't already, just remember to put your phones on silent. We're going to be reading from the divine instruction from the Holy Prophet, found inside of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God Allah. Holy instructions from the Prophet, Misery. Feeble and insufficient as thou art, O man, and good, frail and inconstant as thou art in pleasure, yet there is a thing in which thou art strong and unshaken. Its name is misery. It is the character of thy being, the prerogative of thy nature, and thy breast alone it resideth. Without thee there is nothing of it, and behold, what is its source but thine own passions? He who gave thee these gave thee also reason to subdue them. Exert it, and thou shalt trample them under thy feet. Thine entrance into the world, is it not shameful? Thy destruction, is it not glorious? Lo, men adorn the instruments of death with gold and gems, and wear them above their garments. He who begetteth a man hideth his face, but he who killeth 1,000 is honored. Know thou, notwithstanding, that in this era, custom cannot alter the nature of truth, neither can the opinion of man destroy justice. The glory and the shame are misplaced. There's but one way for a man to be produced. There are 1,000 by which he may be destroyed. There is no praise or honor to him who giveth being to another, but triumphs and empire are the rewards of murder. Yet he who hath many children hath many blessings, and he who hath taken away the life of another shall not enjoy his own. While the savage curseth the birth of his son and blesseth the death of his father, doth he not call himself a monster? The greatest of all human ills is sorrow. To much of this thou art born unto. Add not unto it by thine own perverseness. Grief is natural to thee and is always about thee. Pleasure is a stranger and visiteth thee by time. Use well thy reason, and sorrow shall be cast behind thee. Be prudent, and the visits of joy shall remain long with thee. Every part of thy frame is capable of sorrow, but few and narrow are the paths that lead to delight. Pleasures can be admitted only simply, but pains rush in 1,000 times. As the blaze of straw fadeth as soon as it kindled, so passes away the brightness of joy, and thou knowest not what become of it. Sorrow is frequent, pleasure is rare. Pain cometh of itself. Delight must be purchased. Grief is unmixed, but joy wanteth not its alloy of bitterness. As the soundest health is less perceived than the lightest malady, so the highest joy touches us less deep than the smallest sorrow. We are in love with anguish. We often fly from pleasure when we purchase it. Costeth it not more than it is worth? Reflection is the business of man. A sense of his state is his first duty. But who remembereth himself a boy? Is it not in mercy then that sorrow is allotted unto us? Man foreseeth the evil that is to come. He remembereth it when it is past. He considereth not that the thought of affliction woundeth deeper than the affliction itself. Think not of thy pain, but when it is upon thee, and thou shalt avoid what most hurt thee. He who weepeth before he needeth, weepeth more than he needeth. And why? But that he loveth weeping. The stag weepeth not till the spear is lifted against him, nor do the tears of the beaver fall till the hound is ready to seize him. Man anticipateth death by the apprehension of it, and the fear is greater misery than the event itself. Be always prepared to give account of thine action, and the best death is that which is least premeditated. I read the entirety of chapter number 44, which we will be discussing as we're led by our Sunday school instructor, our Grand Sheik, Brother Y. Cyrus Hill. That's fine.
Islam Moors. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. I'd like to thank our assistant chairman, Sister Cecile Zil, for opening up the meeting. It's good to see all of the Moors here for the Sunday school. I'd like to welcome everyone out to temple number 34 this afternoon. And at this time, let's all stand together. And I'm going to ask Brother I. Smith-Ill if he can lead the Moors in a very simple form of praise and honors. If you're unable to stand, don't worry. If you have children in your hands, don't worry. If you're unable to stand, don't worry. Islam, Brother Smith-Ill.
I rise and give praise to Allah,
We rise and give praise to Allah,
Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I give high honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honors to the forerunner of the Prophet, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I give honors to everything pertaining to Islam. I give honors to everything that Christianity gave honors to.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you, Brother Smith-Ill, Islam Moors. So we're going to take advantage of the time. We always have the challenge of getting in, everything that we can inside of 1 hour. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go directly into the question. I have a lot of interesting information I want to go over with the Moors this afternoon. To start off, in the great meeting is on Quran questions for Moorish Americans. I'm going to repeat the question. Islam, Brother Skipper Bay. And if the Moors can say the answer back, you call Sister Jordan, they'll basically call Brother Skipper Bay right up. You see that? Islam. Good morning, Islam, Brother Leander Bay, Brother Night Ill. Praise Allah. Good to see the Moors. Brother Barry Bay, Sister Barry Bay, Sister T Barry Bay, and Sister B Reeves Bay. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. We got a couple of guests in as well, and their family members. This is a blessing to have you with us this afternoon. Islam, Brandon and James are here. Michaela. Brandon, stand up, Brandon. Let's let the Moors see how tall you got. Actually, we've been hearing all this stuff about how much height he got on him. Islam. Look at my brother. Suited and booted. Suited and booted. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Oh, welcome everyone this afternoon. So we're gonna go into the questionnaire. I'm gonna start with the first question, Moors. Who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where's the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
In the heart. Where's Sister Michaela at? Did she just go to the other side? I think she went to the bathroom. Yeah, she went on the other side. Okay, it was somebody else that's small. It was a Michaela question. No, don't worry. I'll get her when she comes back, Sister Sylvia. If I'll come back to that question. Let's keep going. Those are questions for Michaela. Question number 5. Who is Noble Jew Ali? What is a prophet? What is the duty of a prophet?
To save the nation from the wrath of Allah.
Islam. I'm gonna go to Brother Lord L. And this is a question for the Moors. This is we get into the warm-up. Brother Lord L. Islam. We gave praise and honors already, so I'm gonna go right to the question. It says that Prophet Noble Jew Ali's duty is to save the nations from the wrath of Allah. How did the Prophet Noble Jew Ali save the Moors from the wrath of the great God Allah?
By teaching them to know themselves.
Islam. Does anyone have? Thank you, Brother Lord. That was a nice, concise answer. Brother Smithfield or any of the Moors, does anyone know where we can find it in our, I'll give a hint and say laws, that the Prophet saved us from the wrath of Allah? Islam. Or anything that might relate to that. It might not use the word wrath of Allah, where the Prophet saved us from the wrath of Allah. Islam.
Chapter 47, 48, talking about the divine origin of the Egyptian.
Okay.
This is Egypt Empire.
Egypt Empire, the capital empire, the dominion of the Mexican.
Correct. Islam. So that one, as well as chapter 48, and the time of the killing of the prophecy.
Okay.
Talking about instruction 1, the last prophet in these days, and we prepare divinely in the time of Allah, to redeem them from the simple ways, from the warning and the great wrath.
Islam. Wow, your answer was better than my thought, actually. That was very good. Very good answer. I was thinking of Acts 6, where it said that in Acts 6 it says, it's the reason why the great God Allah ordained Prophet Noble Jew Ali to, let me see something if I can find it here. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. So I like your answer better than my thought. Praise Allah. Let's keep going. Going into question number 8. Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Jew Ali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913 AD.
Where?
Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Jew Ali born?
North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we consider the rock is born in America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting of fallen humanity.
Islam. So I'm gonna bring this question to Sister T. Berry Bay. I'm looking for Michaela. Where'd Michaela go? I'm gonna go to Terea in the meantime. Sister Terea. Islam. Praise and honor is already given. I know you're ready for this. This is a fastball question, but you got it. You just answered it earlier. The prophet said, it says, the questionnaire says, for what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? And the answer is for the uplifting of fallen humanity. And what are some ways that we can, or if you want to give an example of what you plan to do to help to uplift fallen humanity?
I would start by, I'm full of love, so I would spread more love in the world.
Praise Allah.
I like music, so musically, I don't know if I got it because I rap, but but I somehow I think maybe I should sing and be gospel.
You got the double threat going on?
We need like somebody like like the influence basically. It starts with you, but be a
Islam.
good influence on the world. So it's really
Islam.
quality.
Islam. Very, very good answer. So she said that you actually knocked the target down right when you first said to spread love.
Yeah.
Is to uplift fallen humanity. Now I was going to turn around and ask you, well, how would you go about doing it? And you answered the how automatically.
That's right.
Through music. You know, through music. And you even added that part in. She used the word that's a buzzword in the industry. I'm from a sales industry, let's say, an influencer. To be an influencer, you know, of love to the community that spreads love. Because I bet you were gonna say we need an influencer that's gonna be willing to spread love. We need it. I'm gonna go to somebody that might be able to answer this question. Brother Skipper Bay or Sister Seals will get you back. Do we currently have an influencer in our community who is spreading love?
We have at this present moment.
Yes.
In time,
Yes.
spreading love.
That's a trick question. That's a tricky question. Not a trick.
That is a tricky question because I can only speak for myself.
Islam. Praise Allah. Praise Allah.
As the sister said, what would be expressed in social media. Because when one recognizes their obligation and they are willing to share it carefully and to give back freely what has been given to them. So I would say it's a individual. It's an individual thing, like in social duty, it says, when one considers thy wants, when thou beholdest thy imperfections, acknowledge his goodness, O Son of humanity, who honored thee with humanity, indulge thee with speech, and place thee in society to receive and confer reciprocal helps and mutual obligations, protection from injury, thy enjoyment of the comforts and the pleasures of life. All these thou owest unto the systems of others, and could not enjoy but in the bands of society. So you have to uplift all the humanity in order to enjoy life.
Islam. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. That actually reminds me of some of those verses in chapter 35, where it says that essentially the obedience to his precepts is happiness to thyself. Sister Silzil?
Excuse me, I just want to give praise and honor.
Praise Allah.
Give praise to Allah and honor to the Prophet and honor to the Sunnah.
Islam. Thank you, Brother Skipper Bay. Sister Chairman?
Islam. So I was going to say that was a great thought. I was thinking the prophet. The
Mm.
prophet is very much on the scene. As long as we imitate the prophet, the words works in me. You might think that
Islam.
it's one of us who's doing it, but it's truly the spirit and the influence of the prophet.
Praise
So
Allah.
with that, I say peace.
Praise Allah. Prophet Noble Ali, that's a very good answer. I was searching and I'm still searching. I wanted to say Martin Luther King, you know, but the prophet is a better example. You want to read the article, Savior of Humanity. Read those first two paragraphs, and it says the prophet is serving humanity and is powered by the love that he had for humanity. Praise Allah. Thank you, Sister Zilzil. Let's keep going. We're going to go to the top of page 2. Question number 16. How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
By teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
Old time religion.
What kind of flag is the Moorish?
It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
How old is our flag?
It is over 10,000 years old.
Islam. I'm gonna stop right there just for a second, and I'm gonna go to one of the wiser Moors as I go around. And let me ask the brother right here. This first is brother man. If you're unable to stand, don't worry. Can you give us your name? I'm not gonna ask the names of the family during the end of the meeting and secretary time. But if you can you give us your name? Naftali, and I heard Bay. El Dijol Bey, Islam. I bet you're probably, this ain't the first time you've been in the Moorish Science Temple of America based on that name, huh? It is your first time in the temple? Praise Allah. Is it your first time hearing about the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and listening to his messages? I figured that part. Okay. Praise Allah. Brother Bey, can you tell us, you're familiar with the Moorish flag at this point, somewhat, a little bit, or not so much?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Moorish flag. This is the red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. How much would you say on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you kind of have some information about it, or not a lot?
Not a lot.
Fortunately, we got our brother here. We got our brother Night Ill, brother All Night Ill, and Moore's like brother J Jordan Ill, brother T Berry Bay. I'm gonna go back to brother Skipper Bay. And this is just a precursor, brother Skipper Bay. If you can give us a little bit of information that you have, or that you can tell the Moors about the Moorish flag. If you wanted to give them some, let's say, exotic information, meaning, outside of what we normally hear during our meetings.
Well, what we normally hear about the flag outside of our meeting is that the flag is associated with the Moroccan flag outside. But there's a difference between the Moorish flag and the Moroccan flag.
Right.
The Moorish flag is a 5-pointed green star in the center. The Moroccan flag has the same star, but it has the black lines around it and so on. So it's not all the way green. And the Moorish flag was a flag that was flown back in 1800s with George Washington when they were at war with the Moors. So we're talking about things outside of the
Islam.
The battle between George Washington and the Moors, and how George Washington was told there's a proverbial story about the cherry tree that George Washington chopped down in his backyard. It was really a replicated story of the history of the Moorish people fighting against George Washington and the three armies that was behind him. And they conquered the Moors in battle. So that's where the proverbial story comes from, that George Washington chopped down the cherry. They took down the flag, and the Prophet Noble Jolly came and retrieved that flag after it was taken down.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you very much for that, brother Skipper Bay. And that's what we want to go over today. I want to go over some information about the flag. In the last few weeks, we were looking at Moorish garb and the fez and the turban, and we spent 3 weeks on that, so we're going to switch the topic. Interestingly, Moors, if you get a chance to take a look at the Friday Holy Day service on the national platform. They featured temple number 11 out of Philadelphia. Wow, it was a powerful meeting just in general. They had all of the children on. By the way, in case I forget, Temple 34 will be on the platform on the 3rd, on March the 3rd. So mark the calendar. We want to have a nice full turnout for that date. But Brother A. Hopkins Bay spoke, and he actually gave a very interesting piece of information. I'm like collector of information. Now, if I didn't hear before, exotic information. He said that Abraham Lincoln, who was an attorney, defended before he was the president, was defending some Asiatic, and he said that there were a lot of cases when you go into history before Dred Scott that so-called Asiatic or so-called African Americans, Negro or so-called Negroes were fighting for their freedom in the courts, and they were mostly won, most lost, like Dred Scott, the famous Dred Scott decision. Abraham Lincoln resided over or defended in one of those cases. And he made the argument for the person that he was defending. And I'm going to look this up myself so I can qualify, but I trust Brother Hopkins Bay's research is always spot on over the years. He said Abraham Lincoln argued that he was not a Negro, he was a Moor. This was in fact a Moor, which is very interesting. I'm gonna go to brother, because his hand went up with the point, brother Jordan, and I'm gonna go to brother Lauderdale as well. Hand went up before yours, and then Sister Sylvia. And then brother Petersdale's hand on Zoom. Brother Jordan first.
Islam,
Islam. Praise Allah. William Dungy was the name of the defendant. Praise Allah. Thank you for that. Very interesting information, Moors. Add that to your repertoire, put it in your notes. I'm going to go to Brother Lauderdale and then Brother Petersdale.
Islam.
Brother Lauderdale. Islam.
Praise Allah. Give honor to the Prophet and Muhammad and the Most High Temple of America. Interesting fact is the camel walk, also what the brother mentioned earlier in reference to Prophet retrieving the flag.
Yes, sir.
At the time he retrieved the flag, it was stated that they did not originally give him a 5-pointed star. And he had asked them, where is the star? And they had to, at that time, give it to him.
Right.
And we, at that time, the Moorish Americans here in North America were flying the Moroccan flag. However, at this time, 1913, we were flying flag. In Morocco, they were under French protectorate, and they were not allowed to fly their flag. So I believe approximately around 1956. And so during that time, so to speak, the Moors in America were holding that banner, and we were flying that red flag with that mark on the star.
Praise Allah. That's exactly spot on. And that's the history I want to share. There's a lot with the flag that we're going to go over. And part of it is understanding the history of Morocco and it being a protectorate and under the, for a certain amount of time, the jurisdiction of the United States, although it was a French protectorate, and how that flag, the timeline actually worked out. And there's some key questions in there. Who's flying whose flag? Are we flying theirs or are they flying ours? We're going to get to that. So I'm going to go to Brother Petersdale, and then we're going to keep going in the questionnaire. Brother Petersdale?
Might need help on muting. I think no one's allowed to unmute.
Islam. Okay, I will do that, Sister Susan. Thank you. He's unmuted already. You were unmuted, brother. You can mute it back. Let me see. Ask to unmute. There you go. You see that, Brother Petersdale? There you go. You're unmuted.
Islam, Moorish.
Wow.
Give praise to the great God of the universe, honor to his prophet, and everything pertaining to Islam. Peace, Moorish.
Wow.
I want to just want to camel walk with actually enter the thought on you had asked a question about influencers, like is there any influencers and stuff like that. But like it plenty, and it's multiple, a lot of influencers out there, but we have to kind of like take the prophet with us when we study, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? To be able to be, because the influencers are most likely not in the temple, right? So they're not gonna have the same language, they're not gonna have the same tone, they're not gonna have the same certain things as that we're used to. So, you know, in order to assimilate, we gotta kind of open up so that we can be able to really hear what the influencers or the brothers and sisters are sharing.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah.
And with that I say peace.
Thank you for that, brother. Brother Petersdale. And the prophet said, out of the worst, the wise will find the means of good, and you should look for the best in others and give them the best that's in you. So I can see it, the potential in our community as well. I'll just say that. I saw Brother Nightdale's hand. I'm gonna you got the floor, Brother Nightdale.
Islam.
Islam.
For the Moors in North America and other parts of the world, the language was broken. And the names that pertained to slavery under Negro colored, Black and Ethiopian was defined against our right of birth. And when the prophet proclaimed to the government, he was cursing at them too, because we got back to the family all over the world, not just the flag, but what it represents, that anywhere we go in the world, we are somebody that ain't Negro, colored, Black, or Ethiopian.
Islam.
And
that's right.
the mission hasn't changed much. But the mission hasn't been completed with the Nation of Islam and this and that. Everything has to come back together.
That's right.
If you're going to use right of blood.
Say it again, Brother Nigel. That's right on the money. Come on.
Because we sojourned with the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites. We sojourned with them. Not just in footsteps in blood. And we get treated like this.
Wow. Well said.
Education.
Well said.
We won't be the most That's
right.
We ain't gonna get around it.
We're gonna get some studying in too. Very good point. You know, the one thing that I have, although I'm proud of the nation, do not speak radical, because they've instilled the principles to a high degree, but they gave away the nationality. That's a horrible trade-off. I'm gonna go to Sister Silza, and we want to keep going. We want to keep moving.
I was also going to just say, I love that the prophet speaks to himself as Jesus come again. So that everywhere you go, they know Jesus. So even in Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, everywhere that you go, there are people on that continent that know Jesus. And so there's always a way to relate. And I think that's one of the most influential characters, beings. Some may not even consider it, some may just consider it a story, but that's one of the most influential when it comes to the ability to spread a message. And so I just thought that was a beautiful thing.
Sister gears are spinning, actually. Jesus was love made manifest. And the prophet, she's doubling up on the prophet Noble Drew Ali, because the prophet was Jesus come again. And that's why he was able to move to that degree in love for his people. Let's continue with the questionnaires. I'm gonna ask Sister Michaela, Brandon, and any of the little ones. I see my little sister, more sister, to come up to the front. Michaela, I want you to be the center right here. And James, if you're able to, if you want to, if not, you're not. I know James is not feeling well. You don't have to. Wait, I got a question for Michaela, and I want the other Moors to be there to help her in case she needs a little help. As we continue down this page, come on, Brother Brandon, stand right there next to your sister. Y'all stand facing forward. The next question is, which is our holy day? Question 22. Everyone, which is our holy day? Why? Who was Jesus? Where was he born? Who were his father and mother? Will you give in brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came?
Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary.
Why did the law send Jesus to this earth?
To save the Israelites from the oppression of the colonization of Europe, who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time.
How long has that been?
About 2,000 years ago.
What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabite.
What is the modern name for Moabites?
Moroccan.
Where is the Moroccan Empire?
Northwest of Mexico.
What is the modern name for Mexico?
Africa.
What is the title given to our ruler in Morocco?
Sultan.
Where do we get the name Jesus? Praise Allah. So I got a question for Michaela. So Michaela, you're first, right? So the first question, let's go through the first questions together. Turn around. I want you to face the family while you're answering the questions. Ready? And then when I ask you the last one, you can look at me or look at them or whatever, however you feel. First question: who made you, Michaela, without looking at your book? Who was Allah? Can we see him? Where is the nearest place we can meet him? Okay, and my question to you, Sister Michaela, let me get the camera on correctly. Let me see if your head is there. Perfect. How do you meet Allah in the heart, Sister M. Jordan Ill? There's two answers, and you can give me either one of the two answers. If not, you can go to your big brother. He's gonna help you out. How do you meet Allah in the heart? So we're just gonna have him help you. Brother Brandon, how do you meet Allah in the heart? Islam. Give me, and that's absolutely right. What two techniques do we usually say that we use to meet him?
Meditation.
What's the other one? Praise Allah. Very good, very good. So I got one more question for brother, very good, Sister Michaela, and brother Brandon. I need you to give me 2 continents, well, 3 continents, 2 oceans, and 3 planets.
There's a map to your left there.
2 of 7 continents, 3 of 7 continents, 2 of 5 oceans, and 3 of the 9 planets.
Africa, Europe, the Atlantic Ocean.
Wait, give me one more continent. Africa, Europe, and another one. Asia, okay. 2 oceans.
The Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean.
Okay, and then give me 3 planets.
Mercury, Venus, and Earth.
Wow, he gave him an order. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Islam. Thank you, brother Brandon. And I'm gonna add, you can take a seat, brother and sister Jordan now. Very good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Islam.
And I'm gonna ask my little sister that's sitting in her seat. I'm gonna see if I can get her to just stand up and give us your name. Say your name nice and loud. Or even sit in your seat and say it nice and loud. Her facial expression.
Mom, what's your name?
Praise Allah. Melanese, Islam. Welcome, Sister Melanese. Let's do one more page, and then we're gonna go into the next part of the Sunday school. I'm gonna go to the top of page 3. Question number. I'm gonna go to. Okay, who can I go to now, brother I. Smith L. I'm gonna have you stand up, and I'm gonna say the question, and you give me the answer. Let me see if you got it on tap. Yes. Question number 86. What does the name Jesus mean?
Jesus is just 36.
36 on top of page 3. Pardon. Question 30. Jesus means justice. 37. Did the angel give to the child that was called Jesus a holy name?
Yes, but it cannot be used by those who are slaves to sin.
Islam. What is an angel?
An angel is the God of Allah manifested in the flesh.
What are angels used for in human flesh? Human flesh is key. What are angels used for?
Very messages to
all nations. Question 40. What is our prophet to us?
He is an angel
who was
sent to him.
Gospel of Allah, Islam. I'm gonna ask Sister Silda. Sister Silda, you gotta stand up for that one. Sister Silda, question 41. Come on, Chairman.
We're whispering for the boys.
We're gonna do the Moorish push-ups. 5 questions. What is the everlasting gospel?
It is a saving power that comes from Allah through our ancient fathers, last prophets.
Islam. Question 42. What is the covenant of the great God Allah?
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long on the earth land which the Lord thy God Allah hath given.
Has given thee. Praise Allah. Thank you, Sister Silva. Sister Reevesbay, what is that question? Where does that question come from, Sister B. Reevesbay?
Oh, wait.
Question 42, which the answer is, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth land which the Lord thy God Allah have given thee. What is that?
Back of our holy pamphlet. Let me just find it.
I'm gonna give you a hint. It's not in the Quran. It comes from somewhere other than the Quran. Don't say it's big sister. Give her a minute. She got this one. It's not there.
Don't tell me that.
Question 42.
Question 42.
The question is,
Lord thy God Allah have given you.
where does it originate? That originates somewhere very important. Think laws, think old laws, other books.
I wanna say more.
Brother Jordan, they'll got your back. If you call on them, Sister Reeves, babe.
It is.
It is, but I want to go to the root of it. Brother Jordan, they'll got your back. Help your sister out, Brother Jordan. Now. The 10 Commandments. Islam. Sister Reeves, Sister T. Berry Bay, what are the 10 Commandments? Not each one of them, but give just a summary of the 10 Commandments. You heard of those before?
Yeah. The Lord.
In history, and it comes from a place and a person. I'm gonna go to Brother Leander Bay. Brother Leander Bay, what are the 10 Commandments?
Shall not steal.
Well, without going through each one of them, what are they? How would you describe them? Where do they come from? Where do they exist? How did you hear about them?
I heard about it in the Bible.
Right.
Yeah.
Who brought them?
Moses.
Right. How did he bring them? Anyone know how he brought them? Brother Skipper Bay. Let's go to Brother Skipper Bay. Skipper Bay, fill us out real quick.
No,
Islam.
well, Moses was learning all the wisdom of the Egyptians. So he had received those commandments long before he was,
You get deep with it.
long before he had retrieved them from a God of his understanding.
When they say it like this, Brother Skipper Bay, give them the basic, because some of the Moors may be hearing it for the first time. Give it like a Sunday school teacher, and then for those that know that, give them something extra.
For the most part, they come from the 42.
That's extra. That's 42. Give them the basics, super basics. First degree.
First degree. They come, first degree, they
Someone that maybe never heard the story.
Well, Moses was given those commandments
Right,
on Mount Sinai
There you go.
by
Like
God
from the
of
burning bush,
by the
supposedly
burning
stone
bush.
tablets, right?
Yes, right.
It's
So
long.
basically, he was learning all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and he had a formula to make up the commandments. And put him in a formula for humanity. And they were taken from the negative confessions of the mystery schools of Egypt.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah.
You got Richard, you have two hands, Brother Spalding Bay, Brother Ceramic Bay. Both have hands.
Praise Allah. They took him down. Moors, if you want your hands up. Oh no, he got a brown hand. That's why I can't see. I'm going to Brother Spalding Bay. Brother Night Ale's hand went up first. Brother Night Ale, I know you just had a thought.
The situation with the information and the transmission was kept simply by saying there's only two ways this thing will be transmitted: by man or by Allah. And if you want to get it from Allah, you gotta tie your will into the universal will, and you can get that signal. Stronger than the cell phone. You know how to work on the cell phone.
Right.
But they got people transmitting out here. They ain't playing the game with all the other stuff.
That's right.
Wasting a whole lot of time that we really don't have. It's an intuitive chord. That's why, when the woman get it first, when that umbilical cord starts to grow and the energy and the emotions and all that stuff start getting transmitted. The only way a male can get it, he got to slow the ethers down. And how he gonna slow down something that moves so fast that the flesh now can't see?
Islam. Praise Allah.
It's in the still small voice you can hear this thing. So now, as a male, how are we gonna make that thing stand slow enough so we can comprehend? So, being a Senate member in the Moor Science Temple of America, we can get to that.
Praise Allah.
So that's what
Appreciate that. Brother Night was on our Friday lesson. That's what we on a couple of weeks now. On Friday, we're talking about studying self and reflection and meditation and the difference. And the difference is that stillness. I'm gonna take the last question from Brother Spalding Bay, and I'm gonna go into the next topic. We're gonna share the screen shortly after that. Brother, I can actually do it, and I'll connect my computer then. Brother Spalding Bay, you got the floor.
Islam, give praises to Allah, honor to the Prophet, everything that has been given honor to. So going back to your question, like we know that, you know, 10 Commandments come from Mosaic law, and we know that the 10 Commandments really is like the principles of a bunch of other laws that was given to the Israelites, you know, from the great God Allah to Moses when they were traveling through the desert to get to the promised land. But interestingly enough, you know, when I look at the writings of the prophet or you know, he never mentions Moses. And even within our laws, you know, we could look and we could see where in our 7 acts, even when we open up the meeting, it tells us that, father should provide for his household, and mother should listen to her husband, and children should, listen to their mother. So even though the prophet in that questionnaire doesn't say it right there in the laws, we see that the idea or the concept is there. You know, even when we look in the questionnaire, when it says Satan was seeking, Satan is roving through the earth seeking to devour someone. We can even find that in the book of Job in the Bible. But I would dare submit that these things were already ordained aforetime before they were even put into the Bible. Peace.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you, Brother Spalding Bay. I'm going to go to Sister Silshill, and I'm going to go back to Brother Spalding Bay. Sister Silshill?
That's I'm gonna only speak to it because there was someone posted in the chat, but I had turned to this page. Just pulling it back to the prophet and to Jesus. Says the whole and in chapter 46, the beginning of Christianity, it says instruction 5, the holy teaching of Jesus was to the common people to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust. That the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor. Also that the lion and the lamb may lay down together and neither will be harmed when morning came. And then it continues and says, these teachings were not accepted by the rulers, neither by the rich, because they loved the principles of the 10 Commandments. Through the 10 Commandments, the rulers and the rich lived while the poor suffered not. Now, we also had a brother who mentioned that in the chat. It's Brother Antonio Carrington.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you, Sister Silshill. Welcome, Brother Carrington Bay. I saw he came on a meeting earlier as well, and that's a beautiful thing. Sister Silshill, actually, I'm gonna go back to Brother Spalding Bay as I'm trying to get my screen to share in the room. Brother Serrano Bay, actually, you got the floor. Brother Serrano Bay?
Islam, arising, I give all praise to the great God Allah, give honor to his holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I didn't have a comment.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Brother Sheik. I appreciate it. And then I'm gonna go back to Brother Spalding Bay, and I'm gonna start this conversation off about vexillology, Brother Spalding Bay. What is vexillology? You can see that.
Vexillology is the study of flags.
It's the study of flags. What can you tell me about? I'm gonna pull the definition of it. Actually, it's one of the shortest definitions I've seen. There's a definition out of I'm not sure if that's Webster's or something like that. The study of flags, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is another definition from a different dictionary. Study of flags, real short. It's noun. Vexillology, is the study of flags, and we want to go into the meaning behind the Moorish flag. And Brother Spalding Bay, if you want to, I'm going to give you the honor of this stating whatever comes to mind first. If someone asks you, well, tell me something about the Moorish flag, and as I asked Brother Skipper Bay earlier, what would you say if you gave him something a little extra than what we usually hear, that the flag is over 10,000 years old? Some say it's over 50,000 years old. And the 5 points represent the 5 highest principles known to man. Principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. What else would you add, extra?
Well, what I would say, looking at this flag, this is not the Moorish flag. This is the Moroccan flag.
Because it has the broken parts, is what the Moors say, right?
Well, not even so much the broken parts, but it has the black outline around the green star.
Mhm.
And, you know, when we look at what the prophet has given us, he tells us that black, according to science, means death. So why would he retrieve a flag from this government that would have black in it?
Right.
So clearly that shows that this is the Moroccan flag that they adopted in 1956, because the Moorish flag and the Moroccan flag are two different flags. You know, two nations can't have the same flag. So when we look at our questionnaire, the prophet clearly tells us that the Moorish flag is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star. It mentions nothing about black being in that flag. And this is clearly not the Moorish flag.
Right. So so that's a discussion we're gonna go into that as well. It's one of the classic discussions about whether the black outline or broken panels. This one actually, I don't know if it's an optic illusion or something like that. It doesn't have the black lines going around it, but the Moroccan flag, I remember when I came into the movement in 2003 and I looked up everything Moorish. They used to have the one with the black outline. If you look up Morocco now today, very interestingly, theirs is almost exactly like ours, except the breaks in the bars. Without going there, I want to start from the beginning in that discussion. Also, the history of the Moorish flag in Morocco, the Moroccan protectorate, which is very detailed. We're going to go in the coming weeks, right? I want to start off at the beginning just on introducing the idea of vexillology and show some things that are very interesting. I'm going to go first, right? Because this gets into Washington, D.C. And if you haven't heard before, there's some very interesting things with the layout of Washington. I want to look at the other flags. We also say that the Moorish flag is the mother of all flags. And so when you look at vexillology, look at the flags of the world, and you see a lot of different things that are similar. Like there's red flags. I want to go over some red. We'll go over one of the weeks. We'll go over red flags. Additionally, these are mostly red, right? These are almost all red, and say, and these have a lot of red, right? The mostly red flags, including China, Vietnam. Look at Vietnam's flag. Tunisia, Serbia, and Turkey, right? The Soviet Union. Mostly red flags like Australia, Peru, Canada, Greenland. Then you have what I want to start on today, after we go over Washington, D.C., is the history or the evolution of the American flag. There's something in the evolution of the American flag that you'll find very interesting. But also, and I'm going to skip past that so I don't let the cat out of the proverbial bag. Red, white, and blue flags. You have interesting flags that have these heads like this on the top of it. That's Napoleon's flag. On the third week, I'm going to go into a relationship between the Haitian flag and the Corsican flag. Napoleon is from a place called Corsica, in the southern Spain, south of France. And then you have other flags around the world that all have different stars on them. You know, the mother of all flags. There's a ton of flags that have stars in them. So, and then there's a book we'll go into, but I want to start with the American flag. Well, as a matter of fact, let's start with Washington, D.C., in case we don't get back to that. And this, most Moorish Americans have seen, when you look at the map of Washington, right? And you look at the way that Benjamin Banneker, a lot of Moors say Benjamin Banneker Bay, and I like that thought, right? Without going into who Brother Benjamin Banneker Bay, he did the layout for Washington, D.C. He placed a star, a 5-pointed star. Now, this star is obviously upside down, but at the head of it, you see the White House right here. And actually, the way the streets are actually laid out in Washington, D.C., it has this, it's very strange that it has a star right there in the middle of the streets. Has anyone ever noticed that before? Raise your hand if you notice. Islam, right? Very interesting. There's actually a couple of interesting symbols in Washington, but I'm just going to point out this star sitting right there in the center of the Capitol, right? So going down to the American flags, and I don't know if there's any questions or comments on, we'll hold them. I'm going to show these American flags and take a couple comments or questions. Brother Clinton Bay. I see Brother Serrano Bay's hand. I'm going to go to Brother Serrano Bay first. So when you look at the evolution of the American flag, right? In the Moorish Divine and National Movement, we are familiar with some of these, right? including, you see here, I don't know if you can see my cursor on the screen.
Yeah.
You can? That's what they call the American Continental Flag. Trumbull's Continental Flag, 1775. It's got that evergreen tree on there, which, there's stories behind what the relationship of that is to the Moors. I'm going to go across here and I'm going to stop on one that's very, very interesting. I don't think I've ever noticed before. So you have various different evolutions of the flag. Let me see if I can move this thing a little bit. Rebellious Stripes, 1767. And I want you to remember this one. It's all of a sudden, the stripes seem like they appeared before the blue square field actually appeared with the stars in it. Remember that. This is the Holbert flag, 1775. You'll see various formations of the stars, Forester flag, continental colors. When we get into the British flag, how the British flag came about is also very interesting. It's a combination. Flags apparently evolved.
Yeah.
The British flag is a combination of the flags of the different areas and combined together in unity to make the British flag, right? Including Ireland and Scotland. This one says Mulberry, 1775. Washington's Cruiser Pine Tree. This is called the Gadsden flag, 1775. We know that the Tea Party uses that today, or they were using it. Yeah, the Tea Party uses that. Washington's Commander-in-Chief, 1775. We just went over Trumbull's Continental flag, the Bedford flag, 1775. So you have all of these different variations. Sons of Liberty. I'm going to zoom down. Betsy Ross's flag. This is one they call it the I think the Union flag is the way it was taught in school. I'm used to seeing this one on a regular basis, but I've never seen this before. Many of these I've never seen. Green Mountain Boys, the Easton flag, Bennington flag, just flag museums for the American flag. And some of these, I forgot where I went to a flag museum and I saw some of these actually laid out. Look at this one though. I'm gonna zoom, I'm gonna go right down. Look at the ones with the stripes, South Carolina, Navy ensign. Look at this flag here. George Rogers Clark's flag from 1778. Very interesting. Striped flag first, so it seems like, and I wonder, you wonder if this was from 1778. But I wonder, if that could have been, had some other earlier meaning. If you look up George, and I don't have this because we're going to go into this in more detail on another day. When you look this up, this was a flag, I'm speaking in general terms, that was used in a fort that was conquered during what I believe was the War of 1812, was the colonists were expanding east. And they were able to take an Indian territory, but they lost it. They were under pressure. That's like an early conquest. You took some territory, and if you know anything about battles, if you take territory and you lose it, that means that you were probably under a tremendous amount of pressure. And they were trying to forge a certain type of peace with the native tribes before Britain. Is interesting in the war of 1812. Britain and a lot of Asiatics, let's say, were fighting with the Indians to get the colonists, beat them back to where they were supposed to be on the East Coast only. Very interesting that Britain was fighting with the Indians. That's a side story, but Britain in the other side of that war they actually were able to reconquer that territory. So it went back. They lost the foothold that they had. So this was a flag that was supposed to represent peace. It was supposed to, she's fine. She's fine. Yes. Yep. It was a flag that was supposed to represent peace in a type of unity. And why would it be this color? Those are the colors of our flag. And I think that's very interesting. We'll come back to that. But I wanted to kind of, open up this conversation about having an understanding of the evolution of the American flag and understanding what the prophet means when he taught us that the Moorish flag was the mother of all flags. You look at these red flags that we went over earlier. These are serious countries. China, and the Soviet Union. Aside from Turkey, these are some of the strongest countries in the world, and very old ones too. China is. So I'm gonna open up into a question. I know Brother Serrano Bay had his hand up, but Serrano Bay, did you want to add anything, our resident historian? That's Brother Serrano Bay, Sister Sills has hand.
Islam most. I just wanted to give a clarification on the American flag. A lot of times we hear the term Star Spangled Banner, and in certain schools of thought, we disqualify the American flag due to the usage of the term Star Spangled Banner. And I just wanted to clarify that according to Vexillology, the word flag and banner are synonyms. The word flag also, according to etymology, comes from the Spanish word bandera, which in Latin is banderon, which means banner. And so flag and banner are synonyms, and there's an importance as to why Prophet Abu Ali held the American flag as well as the flag of the Moors. And I just wanted to put that out there. Brother Grand Sheik, I see where you're going with it, and I don't want to give up too much information too fast. And I know you want to build up the tension, so I'll just wait. Peace and love.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you for that, Brother Serrano Bay. I appreciate it. And hopefully you'll be able to stay with us as we go over this over the next few weeks and add in any additional information so that the Moors, you are knowledgeable as possible about some of the meaning behind the flag. And what I plan to do next week is I'm going to read the history. It comes from a text, praise Allah. It comes from a text that was put together by Brother Edward Zill. Islam. Let me get us. Islam. Yep.
I'll take care of it.
There's a text from Brother Edwards Ill about the flag and the history. I'm gonna put this up here just for a second for those that may want to try to look this up. We'll go over it in detail. Response to the questions. 2 questions. 1, why does the Moorish Science Temple of America fly the national flag? Oh, so 1 question of Morocco. And it's a rhetorical question because he knows that that's not the case. And he explains how, no, in actuality, you see at the end, we're not flying theirs. They are indeed actually flying ours, which explains how even that black border that was there in the 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, Brother Spawning Bay, if you look at the Moroccan flag today, it seems to almost mimic exactly the way our flag is. I wonder, I wonder about that, but it explains how we are the pattern for what they are doing over there. Brother Skipper Bay and Sister Seals, those hands went up. I'm gonna go to Brother Skipper Bay first, and then Sister Seals. Islam.
That's a good point. Brought up about the Moroccan flag and the Moorish flag. One of the things is that we say our flags, Prophet said our flag is over 2,000 years old. And in some literature it says 50,000 or 50,000. And we can line it up with one of the chapters in the Quran when you go to chapter 47. Right, 47, verse 6, found on page 58, it says, the Moabites from the land of Moab who received music from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabited northwest Africa. They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned in the land of Canaan, seeking new homes. So that explains to you that we were the founders of the Moroccan Empire. So basically, they're flying our flag. And when you go to the next verse, it says, their dominion and habitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across the Great Atlantic unto the present North and Central America, and also Mexico and Atlantis, the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the Atlantic Ocean. So when you look at that here, you see that the landmass was one. It was not broken up. Where there was an Atlantic Ocean, it was all one. Right? And that the empire extended all the way around the world. Now, when you go to the beginning of the Quran, right, you're going to come to a later history, And later history is where it is.
Page
where it
3,
says,
bottom of the page.
Page 3, bottom of the page, yeah, exactly. Right, it says that the,
Industrious acts
right,
of the Muslims of Northwest and Southwest Africa.
right,
These are the Moabites, Hammatites, and Canaanites who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua.
And received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle that portion of Egypt, right? That's referring to what I just read. Now listen to this. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. So this is the present time or modern time. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. These kingdoms are called today Morocco, Algeria, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. So there's an outline of how our flag evolved around the world.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. And it's very interesting as we go into, we're going to segue into the Quran for the last segment of the Sunday school. It's very interesting. Sister Silza had her hand. Let me go.
If you connected to that thought, I didn't want to break that, and
I was going to say, praise Allah. And then you can try to bury the truth, but archaeology, linguistics, which is the study of language, how are you going to hide the whole area is called Kush and Ham? Their names are carved into the land, and the names of the tribes, and even the flags. How are you gonna go back and reverse the flags? Because you can try to hide something, but a country's gonna say, no, we're not giving up our flag. This is my great grandfather's flag. And that history is frozen there. Sister Silza.
That's fine.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Honors already given. I was just gonna say there are some basic requirements for nation flag versus state flag. So national flags are supposed to be simple enough that a child can do it. In the event that you're incapable of necessarily speaking or communicating, it's supposed to be a simple symbol. One way to detect that our flag is of an older origin is that all of the lines actually are passing through. It would take more work to actually separate them in that fashion. So it's not usually the most original of the flags have the most simplistic features.
Right.
And then the things that were born or the nations that were born out of those would usually then copy, mimic, but make it like their own. Now these state flags are allowed to put seals and other types of things on them, but usually the nation's flags aren't allowed to do so. And they're supposed to have no more than 3 colors. I think something like that standard speaking.
Praise Allah. That's a very good, I don't know if all the Moors caught that, but that's very, very good information. Simplicity, and the reason why, Brother Spalding Bay, did you catch that? Why the bars are, and I'm going to Brother Spalding Bay. Brother Spalding Bay, you're gonna get me in trouble because I gotta hold that as the last one. Because we got to get into the Quran. I can hear the Brother Chairman telling me right now, and I can hear Brother Nightingale like, more if you don't get in the Quran and stop with this other stuff. The reason why the flag was simple, it was simpler to make when the bars didn't have those little parts in it where they were disconnected. Praise Allah. And then the simplicity of color. And then she said the state flags, they are always a lot more complicated. Those seals and crests that are in there, they're very complicated. A national flag can't be that complex. Thank you for that. That's good information, Sister Silva. I'm gonna let's go into the Quran, Brother Spalding Bay, unless you got like a 30-second comment you can make. I'm gonna go to chapter 44. Moors, open up your Qurans. Brother Spalding Bay. Let me see. He said that's not gonna be 30 seconds. I'll give you.
Go Islam. Go to the chapter and I can pick it up in Secretary's.
Thank you for that, brother. Greatly appreciate it. We are in chapter 44. The title of which was read by our chairman at the beginning of the meeting, and the title of the chapter is Holy Instructions from the Prophet Misery. And we're closing this chapter out this week. Praise Allah, little sis. We're closing this chapter out. Please let her just move around. Just make sure Brother Mufti she can get past the wire. Good. Perfect. We're gonna finish this chapter out by reading the last few verses, right? So we're gonna go on to page 56, and what we'll do is I'm gonna have Sister Berry Bay read the first verse and give her thoughts on the meaning of the verse. And this is a summary. We introduced the chapter on the first week, and we explained how misery is connected to murder. specifically unjust murder. And really, there's only one murder is when someone dies or you cause someone's death, and it's unjust, unnecessary. You know, other times, you know, there are other cases. I don't want to get too far into that where you might be in battle and you're trying to defend your family and you have no choice. That's not the same. But basically, misery comes out of the cause of unjust death or murder. At the second week, we went into the difference between joy and pain and the way that the relationship between them. And then we went into reflection being the business of man. I think we started it last week, but we're gonna pick it up from there. I don't think we even went over it that much. So we're gonna start with instruction number 19, Sister Berry. If you can read it and give us your take on it. Islam.
Islam?
Islam.
Reflection is the business of man. A sense of his state is his first duty. But who remembers himself? It is not in mercy then that sorrow is allowed unto us. Grand Sheik, if you don't mind reading number 8.
Please, please.
We are in love with English. We often fly from pleasure. When we purchase it, cost is not more than it is worth.
Islam.
It's funny that you told me to read instruction 19, because 18 it really stood out to me because our sister really we can talking about studying ourselves and building our bonds within a sisterhood. And I thought about how sometimes we purchase things that it's not mentally, and we don't realize that we're doing that to ourselves. So let's consider this instruction.
Praise Allah, praise Allah. And that ties in. Look at Brother Peters's face. Brother Peters was like, that was deep. I want to, I see you got a light bulb over your head when she said that. I'm gonna she spoke to something very deep that is combined between the two verses. I'm gonna start mundane. Let's start with the basics, just for those that may be hearing this for the first time. And I'm gonna point out that there may be a part of there actually is a part of instruction number 19, reflection is the business of man, that is cryptic. That is not as straightforward to understand. And I want to see if anyone can speak to it. Actually, I'll point out what it is for sake of time. It says reflection is the business of man. Simple enough. A sense of his state is his first duty. Not too deep. Not too deep. But who remembereth himself a boy? Wait a minute. What do you mean by that? Is it not in mercy then that sorrow is allotted unto us? And that's where I want to start. I saw Brother Petersville's hand first, and then Brother I. Smithville after that. What does that mean to you?
Praise the knowledge already given. But the first thing that comes to mind for me right now in my state is thinking of business, right? Because in business, like minding your own business, reflecting, right? He said reflection is the business of man, right? So when you're reflecting, you're minding your own business, right? When you're reflecting, you're in your own garden, right? When you're reflecting, you're being self. So that's I get it. Just like a couple of the opening of the Quran, you know that really myself and part of that Allah.
Praise Allah, praise Allah. Islam, little sis. She's exploring. She's like mapping out. I like the energy in here. Praise Allah, Brother Petersville. Good, very, very good breakdown. Anyone else want to try to speak to that, Brother Smithfield? Islam.
With 19, I think when I connected to 20, where I talked about man perceived the evil that was to come, remember it that it was past. When I think about who remembers himself a boy, like when you're young, most of the things that you experience is pleasure because everything is new. You're not really familiar with pain until you experience it, like you bump into something. So it's like maybe the mercy is like you become comfortable with sorrow with age and then reflecting on that instead of assuming everything can be pleasurable, because we also taught that the lowest of opposite better. Just give it clearness with all.
Islam. Okay. Praise Allah. That's an interesting take on that, Sister Sealshill. Thank you, Brother Smithfield.
So, when I look at it, for me, who remembers himself a boy? It's like almost nobody remembers what they were as a child. Like, how many, if you ask the children, you know, they're young, they realize that they're children, but do they ever feel like a sense of certain infancy? They kind of have a thought. They have, you know, like the spirit of a man is within them. And so when you think about time never was when man was not, are you truly, there's a difference in learning and cultivating, but the child is as perfect as its mother is. And so there's a concept for me when looking at it, that there's a portion of consciousness within you, which has no age. Spirit has no age. And so there's an ability, I guess, to tap in. But it also made me think about it. Usually it takes a certain level of parenthood also. So you get to being maybe a parent or even just babysitting, childcare, we get to a level of responsibility in life. Here, this instruction also talks about the weeping and until the spare is raised. So it talks about aspects of death. So I also find, you know, the decline of life, that people who develop dementia, they remember themselves as children. They remember themselves when they were younger. Also, when you develop a certain level of responsibility and you're caring for other children, you might call to mind when you're trying to relate yourself as that youth. And so I would say those are the things that have to connect to.
Islam. Also, like when you get, they say your life flashes before your eyes at a certain point. When you are on the verge, you see, you know, death may be close by, or what they call death. They say that most human beings have this phenomenon that the life flashes. Brother Peter's ill.
Speaking to the second.
Go to Brother Berry after that.
Thank you. That touches on kind of like when we first start off, right? Because I realize self-help books, I wish that for that. So when they say when you start off, you're the closest to where you need to be, right? When you first start, right? We can relate that to either when you come into this planet, right? When the children come to the planet, they're pure. But we lose our purity, and then we have to somehow fight to get back to that purity. Right. So he say, who remembers yourself boy is like, who is he that could remember that? You know, could remember those days when you were pure that way, or bring it into manifest. That's what I'm saying, because how you speak of our memory being the soul. Right. And when we be what we know, right, you walk and be that boy. Right? You be that boy, you live that boy, you live it all over again until you get it right. Islam. Praise Allah. So I'm gonna go to Brother Barry Bay, and I see Brother Jordan there, Brother Knight there. I'm curious what Brother Clendenin Bay's take is. We got Brother Turner Bay. I was going to say as we were discussing this, it has something to do with memory and being able to remember what you did, positive or negative. How often, how strong is your memory? You know, can you remember, and how far back can you remember? Islam knows this. Come over here with mom and dad. Actually, you over here. She's good. She's good. She don't. If you try to make her come around, she definitely never gonna come around. She's gonna get louder. There's something about being able to access your memory that's a part of some very important process. That's what I wanted to float, and I'm gonna go to Brother Barry Bit. Islam.
Thinking about sorrow, I don't know if this is happening in the topic.
When
I think about sorrow, sorrow is the only empirical evidence that we have that we are in this position. The prophet said, the greatest of all human ills is sorrow. He said the greatest of all human ills is sorrow. So without sorrow, what would be the empirical evidence that we're here? How do we know we even having this experience right now without sorrow? That's our Holy Spirit.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought. What you just said made me think about the porcelain and the furnace, how man's unfolding. I always felt like the lesson about the furnace in the porcelain in chapter 37, you know, there's something about life and the pains and the trials of life that are important in order to force man to unfold. It also that goes into that part of chapter 1. Perfected man must go through all the ways of life, and so the carnal nature became a foe that man must fight. Let's go to brother Jordan Ill and brother Knight Ill. Islam.
I was just gonna say that, the way I see it, it says, we are in love with angels, we want them to reflection of the goodness of man, for who remembers himself as a boy. To me, that's like a humbling experience, right? Because most of the time, when people say, "Yo, I'm a grown man, I'm a grown this, I'm a grown that," but people remember themselves as a boy. So is it not in mercy given that sorrow is allowed to humble us down?
That part, exactly. And I'm listening as we're reading this, and this is actually a pretty tough encryption. But at this point, I've always saw it as if you didn't have sorrow and reflect, in case you didn't, you're not a reflector. You don't reflect at all. You just do stuff. You ever see somebody just doing stuff, and then because they don't have your conscience can't really work on you unless, regardless of you reflected or not. You're gonna have certain pains that is gonna come in automatically through your subconscious or whatever, because you don't remember your boy. You don't remember what you did last week. So that's a very good thought. I'm gonna go to brother Knight Ill and then brother Turner Bay on the Zoom. Brother Knight Ill, what should help us with this? Moon, what is your take on that particular part of the verse, mysterious part of that verse?
So that part, it's a part of the life where in that state you're supposed to be most teachable and questionable, like the sister wanted moving around.
Yes.
That you're gonna see that growth and development.
Islam.
The brother, he didn't have a Quran in his hand, and he was going up a dial play, and every now and then he would glance down at the text. Now, could I do that now? 6'5", like that.
Right.
So when you start to decline, that the blessing is in that era of time. All the energy, everything firing, for sure. And you had a pattern for your life. It wasn't about pants down and all that other stuff.
Right. Right.
It was easy.
You had more innocence of manners. Yeah.
As a boy, and you go home to your mother and father. Who in the temple got a wife and children and upholding this thing by setting down the pattern. If you remember, you setting down the pattern in your household, then we should be able to identify.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you for that, brother Knight Ill. Brother Barry Bay, as I go to Sister Jordan, can we crack the door? I know this is a little warm because of the numbers in here. Sister Jordan?
I was going to ask you to repeat the question so we can
So the question that we were actually reading from chapter 45, we're on page 56. Instruction number 19 says something. You can put it nice and wide. If there's a chair or something, but Barry, it's nice gust of air in. It reads, instruction number 19 reads, reflection is the business of man. A sense of his state is his first duty, which is fairly easy to interpret. But this next part is a little trickier. It says, but who remembereth himself a boy? Is it not in mercy then that sorrow is allotted unto us? Is where we're at now. And I'm gonna go to one more and then we're gonna read a few before we close out. Brother Clinton Bay's hand is up. So Brother Turner Bay, can we hear Brother Clinton Bay and then we go to Brother Turner Bay? Brother AGS? I can hear you a little under the weather too, Brother AGS. Islam.
Can you hear me, Grand Sheik?
Clear, loud and clear.
I give praise to Allah, I give honor to the Prophet and honor to everything pertaining to Islam. Over the years when I heard that, I couldn't understand that. But I hear the Moors over the years say things, so I did a little further research, and my understanding is incorrect. It's not boy, it's who remembers himself in joy. Joy. And then when you use joy, you can see why sorrow is allotted, according to what Brother Berry Bay was saying. The whole chapter is about misery. The whole chapter is that the soundest health is less perceived than the lightest malady. I mean, your whole body could be healthy, but your little fingernail is hurting you. And you're focused on your fingernail, not the whole body being healthy. Just like pains rushing 1,000 at a time. So pleasures can go. So in my understanding, if you read that over and you say enjoy, it goes along with the whole subject matter. That's my thought. Peace.
Brother Nida was saying, yeah, we got to fix that, because that now I was actually trying to force a meaning to it, but it wasn't really registering. Once you add in the joy, that's like Letterman. Remember Letterman from the television show when we were little children?
Yeah.
Once you switch the letter, praise the Lord, Brother Barry Bay. No, brother Barry Bay. I made Brother Turner Bay hang on. Then I'm gonna go to Brother Barry Bay afterwards. Brother Turner Bay, thank you, Muslim. Wow.
Islam.
I gotta look at Islam.
Rise to give praises to the great God, Allah, honors to the Prophet, and everything pertaining to Islam.
Islam.
And when I look at the reflection as the business of men, the sense of his state is his first duty, but who remember himself a boy? And is it not in mercy then that sorrow is allotted unto thee? This gives me a duality of balance and self-unity, kind of like understanding two sides of different coins, right? Of the same coin. On the one hand, you have a man that you may love your mother, but you are Muslim and she's a Christian, right? So if you love your mother, but you can't hate her because she's a Christian, right? Or because she's doing something that's evil, and you doing something that's good. So it's giving me a knowledge of reflection of two sides of both coin. And then the reflection is the business of men. That brings me back. I think it was you and Brother Barry Bay that spoke to the understanding of it, right? Right. It brings me back to the demonstration of understanding, because reflection brings it makes you think, and that make you think on everything that you have done wrong and right, and that brings out better understanding. And also brings back to the conversation we had on Friday about astrology, reflecting on what is part of your energy, where is it coming from, because sometimes we can reflect all day and we still may not get why we keep doing certain things that may not be of us. It just happens and we don't know why it happens. So I think that's a part of reflection too, just reflecting on the energies around you that cause you to mishap or cause you to fail and succeed at the same time. So I think it's all really just on balance and bettering you, just like you just said, and the AGS just said, just on you, uplifting yourself, bettering yourself. With that, I say peace.
Peace. Thank you, Brother Turner Bay. And I'm going to ask as I turn, because we're over time, and I'm going to go to Brother Barry Bay. I'm going to ask Sister Michaela and Brother Brandon. You see the little sister, she's walking around, she's new, she's a guest. So we're going to allow her to do that, but y'all know better than that. I need y'all to take your seats if you can. McKay, Sister M. Jordan, you put no that eating. You can take a snack on the other side, McKay. If you're one of the muftis will go over with you. If not, I want you to hold off until after the meeting. Islam. And I'm gonna ask one of the, Thank you, Sister Silvia. We're out of time. I wanted to go during the secretary time. We'll go over a few more of the verses. I did want to go over the remaining verses for the chapter before as we close out. I'm gonna go to Brother Barry Bay, and I'm gonna turn the rostrum over to our chairman. Sister Cecil after actually I'm gonna ask Sister Barry Bay if she can come and read the warning, and then we're gonna honor Sister Barry Bay, Brother Barry Bay, actually our ministers.
Praise Allah.
Actually I'm thinking Brother Barry Bay, Sister Barry Bay was there early. We wanted her to read from this for the end of this Sisters Auxiliary. We're gonna call for her to read, and then we'll go into secretary time. I'm gonna go to Brother Barry Bay, but T. Barry Bay. Right, exactly. Islam. Islam. I was struggling with it. I was really having a hard time up here. The best that I could come up with is that it was what the thought was, but praise Allah for Brother Clendenin Bay clarifying that. Brother Nightdale had his hand up before. I'm gonna acknowledge Brother Nightdale, and then we gotta close because we're way over time. And we got someone who's traveling pretty far. Brother Nightdale.
Page 5, on page 5, it says, man will again attain his loss of state. A boy don't know when he gotta reflect. So if we talk about a boy. But if we talk about a man, he know what he gotta do.
Islam.
He feel this thing, manhood is felt.
Islam.
Homosexuality is felt.
Mm-hmm.
Lesbianism is felt.
Mm-hmm.
So a sense of my duty, yeah, I feel it.
Islam. Islam.
I recognize I was a boy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I can work that. With this joy thing, I can't do nothing with that on page 5. We got a grand sheet of the Moorish Temple of America passing out to his constituents literature that ain't right. If nobody say nothing.
Right. Right.
Where we gonna go down with that?
Islam.
Somebody gotta give him a phone call.
Islam.
Islam. I would I automatically go back to those 4 things that the prophet said. Obedience to government, loyalty to obedience to law, loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. So I would say in that case, I'm glad Brother Planinabe pointed it out. We probably need to set up some type of committee to go over. There are a couple of typos, as there are in literature of this type, that need to be addressed. But with that, Moors, because we're over on time, I'm going to call on our sister El Berry Bay. And Brother Kaninabe is there as well. Brother Kaninabe, if you can hold your till secretary time, we're bleeding time out actually now. I'm gonna call on the Sheikhs. Peace. Hang on, then this too.
Turn this camera around. No, I gotta hang on 1 second, Sister Berry Bay. Okay. On the back.
Good eyebrows. Islam. Islam.
January 15th, 1929. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must, in all radical agitating speeches, while at work, in their homes, or on the street. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at European. It caused confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or any group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah from their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card button, cease wearing their turbans or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
At the AGS, and then we can go to use the time. Oh,
so at this time, we're gonna just ask our brothers to help out with the collection. If we can get Brother I. Smith ill and Brother J. Peters ill. That's you have local building and public collection. This is the traveling fund and the uplifting fund. Thank you. Wow. I know our AGS wants to speak. We just one moment. Also, Morris, you can also, Sister Harmony Bay, are you there? I know you're there. I just don't know if you're able to.
I am, yes.
Yes, Mom. If you could just let the Moors know about the Cash App, just so that if anyone wants to donate electronically, we can probably just get the Cash App information.
Absolutely. Praise Allah. So yes, if anyone would like to make a donation or pay their dues electronically, you can do so via our Cash App, which is $MSTA34. Again, that's $MSTA34 on Cash App. And just remember to put in the comments or notes what it is that your donation or the money that you're sending, what it is for. If it is for donation, try to be as specific as you can, or if it is just dues, indicate that as well. And also what months and years. I know a lot of, after sitting at the secretary table, I noticed a lot of people haven't had an opportunity to come into the temple in person to pay their dues. So sometimes there are quite a few blanks, and that's okay. Just remember that when you do pay your dues, we'd like for you to be able to be caught up if that is possible. And if you're able to pay to get fully caught up, just ask the secretary when you have an opportunity and approach the secretary's table to let you know what your dues are, so that when you do send electronically, you can send them with full accuracy. And with that, I say peace.
Please and thank you. And just again, if you all haven't heard, this was just letting everyone know where you can donate electronically. $ MSTA 34. That's at Cash App, right, sister?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
And you can put in the comments or in the note section any of the specifics as to what is it for, if it's for your dues, if it's for just the donation. We also have for Sisters Auxiliary, you have for the different portions of the temple. Thank you for that, sister. Without further delay, I want to call on our Assistant Grand Sheikh Islam Moors. I know we lowered the meeting, but the meeting's not over. The only ones all right to move around are really the youth. We kind of expect the energy. Islam, we have Brother Treasurer, Brother Islam, Brother Jordan Hill. We got our treasurer here. Islam, brother. I know you ready. All right. So Brother W. Clendenin Bay, if we could just give him a moment and maybe close the back door. Is it okay to close the back door? I think this might be getting a little cooler now. All right, Islam, Brother AGS.
Islam, Sister Assistant Chairman, how are you?
Praise Allah. All is well. Okay.
In response to what Brother Nightia was saying?
In response to what Brother Nightia was saying, this is our AGS, just in case
it's not Brother Jones Bay's fault. All right, just to give a little history of what's going on. So I told the Moors a few times that years ago, my first Quran, in chapter number 47, it didn't say lawful day. The L was missing. It was awful day. And for many years and many Quran classes, me and other Moors built on the fact that this is going to be an awful day. It's going to be an awful day when this happens. And then we got some new Qurans in, made an order. And we got the new Qurans in. There was an L put there that was missing. And says it's lawful day. So the Moors, because Moors can't give up on stuff. You could talk to someone all day about not being black. When you leave them, they start talking about black people. So the Moors couldn't give up on the awful. So then it became a lawful, awful day. Because if I've been saying awful and building on this for so many years, now how does this look like now? It's like I was misinterpreted. I didn't know what I was saying. So a few years went by, chapter 2, it talks about John and Jesus. It says they must have the light in order to receive the light. And we said, no, that is supposed to be, they have to have the light in order to reveal the light, because they were talking about them being revealers of the light. And the whole thing was about their mother and father being instructed in the light so they can give the light to their children so then they can reveal it. When that happened, the Moors got up, told about, oh, you're changing the prophet's words, and you're doing this and you're doing that. So now you got to go to chapter 11, and you can't change others. So you're going to build on how there were 7 ethers and 7 others were. And you're like, well, I don't understand that. No, because it's not others, it's ether. But because the Moors in general is like, oh, you can't change it, so you got to go other. And then when you read that a husband, when his wife's in pain, so he's supposed to instigate. No, brother, you're supposed to mitigate. Instigate to make worse. Mitigate it to make it less. It's just like when the ethers reach the rate of atmosphere. It says either. So I can see them more now. When the ether is like the cousin to the ether, see? And the ether, E-I-T, you know, I mean, come on, Moors.
Nice.
It's like if you look on the back of the Quran, my father got alive. Father should be a capital F, not a small f. You know, I mean, when you on the front of the back it says father got alive, and it's supposed to be a capital F when you use father for the father. So I mean, me and Brother T. Hopkins Bey, chairman of Temple 11, one day we spent about 2.5 hours on the phone going through everything. I think we found about over 20 different things that we just in our portion of understanding. But if you bring that to the Moors, they're gonna be like, oh, this is you're changing it. So you're gonna stand there and try to explain to me who remember himself a boy. Okay. Well, okay, Moore, if that's what you want to do, and because it says boy, and you've been saying that for 25 years, and you can find the reason how to explain it, all right. You know, but to me, the context of the chapter is not gonna change because you say a word or two, but you got to understand the context. So that's why when I looked up that part, when I was understanding who remembers himself a boy, yeah, I could try to explain that. I could look at it. But then when I looked at it and I looked at some other teachings dealing with the same exact subject matter, it said who remember himself in joy. So I don't know if there's like to blame somebody like that. But I think just like when you read the warning, it used to say Friday. But when we went to the Moors, we said, listen, Moors, January 15th, 1929 was not a Friday. It was a Tuesday. Well, it was put in the paper on the Friday. Yeah, but that's not January 15th, though. So, and the Moors are like, well, it's not a well. It's changing something to make it factual. It's not my portion of understanding. Is it joy or is it a boy? You know what I'm saying? Is it that they reveal the light or receive the light? Is it other or is ether? It's not my opinion. I want to be factual because I could say whatever, but if you're the teacher, when you're standing up there behind that podium, and the Moors is expecting you to give you the best, to give them and you're gonna just say it because everyone's saying it. I'm not going down that road, but anybody's not going down that road. I'm gonna tell you from my understanding what I see. So I agree that something should be changed. I agree there should be a committee, some kind of oversight to go through everything, not to try to change the prophet's words, but to make sure we have the best understanding. It's not like today where you go and you have a PDF or something and you just do word correct or whatever like that. When you go to a printer in the 1920s and say, I want this printed, you know, how many proofs did they did? Did they have it? When actually printed it, was you then going to say it was wrong and throw out all the copies? I mean, I don't know what happened exactly when the first Qurans were printed. But I know today, the Moors are very leery to change, whether it's from a capital, small letter, what, very leery, a period of very leery to change anything. So that's where we are. Peace.
Praise Allah.
Praise
Thank you,
Allah.
Brother Khalid, for declaring that.
Islam. And just to for the ones that weren't able to hear, Brother Clinton Bay was speaking to some of the typos that may have occurred in the Holy Quran, as we have outsourced some of the things from printing presses, and so typos and certain things were passed along, and he was saying it wasn't as easy back then to just, get it corrected once it's already been published through the whole book. And imagine not getting into that chapter and then you're noting it until that time frame. He also spoke to it's not necessary, but
There you go. Too good now.
That's fine.
We'll do a test of the speaker, TV speakers on here. Someone can say
Islam?
Islam.
I can hear it on the thing.
Islam,
Is that how many?
what happened?
Islam, are you able to hear it?
There it is.
All right. All right. So in particular, in that chapter that we were just reading, the chapter on misery, it's to say not to remember himself a boy, but remember himself in joy. And I'm gonna call on our sister, Sheikh Islam Minister, Sister El Berry Bay Islam.
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 Wow, thank you for AGS and your clarity on that. I also looked at the next question, number 20.
Mhm.
And it says, would he remember himself as a boy? 20 answers it for me. I'm just gonna give you an example of what I have. Men foreseeth the evil that is to come. He remembereth it when it passes. He considereth not that the thought of affliction will not think than affliction itself. Think not of that without pain. A child does not comprehend pain that way. So as a boy, it fly by night, it's gone. As soon as we have the experience as a child. It's when we get older, is we hold on to this confliction or affliction. So it's asking us not to do that as an adult, as a man or woman. So you reflect, and children don't have to reflect, they're living life. We reflect for them, we make sure they're safe, and they do what they need to do. But we as an adult must reflect because we have to influence everything around us, which is our family, our children, our community, the nation. So we must reflect. So that's why I look at 20 as somewhat the answer. I used to struggle with it a lot until today. I delved in and I looked at number 20. It gave us the answer. Because if it is boy, because it's going to have back and forth, like President Bay said, we're trying to change it, but it's an understanding when he comprehended it. If you look at 20, it said men foresee the evil that is come. Children don't foresee it and they don't hold on to it. So how to consider that?
That's fine. And as you all said that, it just made me come to that the first page, chapter 3, right? Page 3 demonstration, as some may say. But looking at page 3, when it says the lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity, as I am a prophet and a servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive this pamphlet at expense. Even if there are errors in the Holy Quran. If you're making your meetings and you're communicating with those who are here and have been here and have preserved these teachings, you'll actually find out some of that hidden information. So, praise Allah for that. You get some of the big wigs like Brother W. Could did a day, former Grand National Chairman, I could shout him out. But, who's been here for some years to be able to kind of run over it. Then you got our Grand Sheik in the back that pulls up the information from the different temples. You got Brother Hopkins, that he's getting information from the assistant Grand Sheik and moderator of the organization. So praise Allah. Now, I see a hand from Brother
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, before anyone speaks, pardon me, I just want the secretary to know her mic is hot.
Perfect. We switched Sister Harmony, so hers is the mic and then the other one is not. And so we're coming off of the speaker on the monitor and the television, which needed to be connected to the secretary's computer. Praise Allah.
Duly noted. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Islam, Brother AGS?
Yeah, I just want to put a little political disclaimer out there. So, as a Grand National Chairman in the past, and even at this past convention, the assistant chairman, if I'm reading from the Quran, knowing the group of people I have in front of me, I got to read what's on the page. You see what I'm saying? Because the Moors, imagine 100 Moors looking at you with their Qurans out. And I don't say who remember himself a boy. I say who remember himself in joy. Can you imagine the vibration in the room? So what I'm doing is like Sister Sealsville said, like they say at Temple 11, miss a meeting, right? Miss a lesson, miss a blessing. So you could go for 20 years and never hear this, and you out there with a boy, you out there talking about the 7 others word, and you out there talking about you're gonna instigate your wife's pain, and you in La La Land, you got the teachings, you know, you missed it. You missed it. And so I'm just saying the disclaimer is this is my portion. Like everyone offers their portion. There's some of them that I'm real strong, because if you go in the chapter with the 7 others, all you got to do is go into the end of the chapter where the prophet says it in reverse. And he talks about the 7 spirits of the 7 ethers of the 7 beings. So that's something that you could see right in the same chapter, you know? But the other ones, it's like, you know, it's like what they call a political football that you don't want to, something hot, you don't want to hold it because the people look at it a certain way. So if you can explain it, listen, the context of learning how to love instead of hate is not going to change. You know what I'm saying? Studying yourself and seeing the issues that Brother Kanene has with himself, and I got to work on them, that's not going to change. Whether it's a boy, whether it's this or that. Like we said the other day, we were talking about, are we just saying this stuff for informational purposes? I know so much, you don't know. Are we talking about self-improvement, the building of the character within each other? And I think that's the main thing. So more is when you're doing the research, I'm just saying, consider there might be a typo there. Consider that you should look at the full scope of it and even compare it with similar, if not exact instructions. Peace.
Peace. Islam. And I did note that we told Brother Spalding Bay that we could catch him back during secretary time. And I also saw Brother P. Miles Bay's hand. At this moment, I'm gonna give the floor to Brother Spalding Bay. And then I'm gonna ask that Brother P. Miles Bay, if you're also ready to speak. Once Brother Spalding Bay is done, you can then begin. And we have also Sister M. Jordan Nils' hand, so we'll also take her hand.
Oh, Islam.
Brother
Right.
Spalding Bay, can you yield for Sister M. Jordan Nils, please?
I'm sorry, say that again.
If I could just ask you to just yield a moment for our young sister.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Islam, Sister M. Jordan Nils, I know you gave praise and honors during Sisters Auxiliary meeting. You're dressed all in white for Sisters Auxiliary. You're definitely assisting us. Now, Islam, what would you like to say? Sounds like a good stuff. Okay. All right. So she wants to know if there are going to be a continuation. I do know that we're still waiting for our brother chairman.
I can speak to that.
Islam, the great chief will address your question. Thank you.
So, Sister Michaela, there is, we're hoping that some of the Moors can stay because there's some food that was brought in addition. So afterwards we can break bread. And we'll see if some of the Moors come over from Temple 21. Peace. Praise Allah.
Islam, did I answer your question, dear sister? All right.
Yes,
Praise Allah. At this time, I'm gonna turn.
Ready if you're ready.
Islam, we're gonna turn our attention over to the Zoom brother Spalding Bay. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just real brief, just to camel walk with brother Clendenin Bay. I've heard those discussions before and they're very salient. And it's just so ironic that he would say political, because when I was thinking about verse 19, there was a gentleman named Tim Russert who used to host a political show named Meet the Press. And he was given an experience of when he was a boy, how he loved baseball. And his father wasn't the most affluent person, but he bought him a baseball glove for the holidays. And it wasn't the baseball glove that he really wanted, because it wasn't of the higher quality that he would have preferred. And when his father gave it to him, he gave it to him with so much, joy. And when Tim Russert got the glove, he gave this very disappointed look, which in turn gave his father a very disappointed feeling. And Tim Russert in kind felt very bad at that time because he realized that his father had put so much effort into getting him this gift, and he didn't show the appreciation that his father was expecting. So it's in those moments when I could think of myself as a boy, and you could reflect back and you could see how perhaps you didn't have the right understanding as a boy, and you may have let people down, or you didn't have the proper appreciation for what those who had custodianship of you was doing for you. So in that essence, I can see how, we would have mercy for ourselves and on our sorrow and remembering how we may have thought as a boy, but now as a full-fledged adult, we take on life's opportunities so we can excel and meet expectations. So I just wanted to say that. Peace.
Yes, and much gratitude. Brother T. Miles Bay just actually jumped back in the call. That was a great thought, to be able to connect it all the way around.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, exactly.
They had his hand up too,
Brother
right?
P. Miles Bay, I see that you got back in. I just clicked to ask you to unmute. Are you able to unmute? I saw that your hand was raised.
Islam, yeah, I got a little disconnected. But first I rise, give praise to Allah, give honor to the Prophet, I give honor to the forerunner, everything pertaining to Islamism. I just wanted to say real quick, it's good seeing the temple looking full like that. I like seeing that, man. Praise Allah. And shout out to the Barry Bays. I see y'all in the building. Brother Barry Bay, what's up, Mo? My guy right there. Peace. Gotta show love. That's my guy right there. And then the whole Barry Bay family. I love all my Moors. I'm happy y'all in Temple 34. It's looking good, man. Peace.
You know, they sent the love right back. Right. Right. All right. Much gratitude to you, dear brother. At this particular time, Islam Greshik, is there anything else that you want to say before we head over to our secretary to read today's financial report?
I'm all set.
Islam.
Did you have any announcements? I think we wanted to get to know the names of the.
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, sister.
Islam, thank you for the reminder, Sister Secretary. If we can just ask the family's name. So we generally ask your name, how did you hear about the temple, and what got you here, and that's pretty much it for you as well, sister and brother. You don't have to stand. You can just say your name and how you got it.
So I heard about the temple online. I was searching for a temple.
I'm sorry. Could I just get you to say your name one more time for us? My
Can
name
you
is
turn
Sister
the
Cecil.
camera around?
Okay, I didn't realize this camera wasn't captioning.
No, I got it. I can just hit the button here. Fancy
Look at the wrist,
technology.
look at the wrist, got it. Look at the wrist, and the other camera is on more.
Boom.
Just there we go. Praise Allah. Our hand is it not a miracle? All right, Islam, dear brother.
I am Nathalie Al-Jobe, and we were searching for a temple, and we found out there were temples in Brooklyn. So we decided to come here and because for a temple instead of Brooklyn. We just needed to try to congregate more with more people and like in our community.
Understandable.
We're trying to get to be more
Praise Allah. And how did you find Temple 34? Was it a regular Google search? Was it YouTube, Facebook? Where did you go? All right. And Google Maps landed you at Temple 34, 237, 239 Hancock? Praise Allah. Praise Allah. You can even get the directions more with the click of a button. Now, if I can ask, what's the name of your princess that you're holding? What's her name?
Emerald Elder.
Sister Emerald Elder Jorbe. All right. And sister, can you tell me your name? Shanice Elder Jorbe. And your Melanie's. Very beautiful. It was definitely a pleasure having you both here. I appreciated the respect that I could see that you all were attempting to keep. Don't feel any kind of way. We have youth, we have children, parents are in here, you know, and we have that understanding.
Sister Shanice, your daughter reminds me of somebody else's daughter.
Yeah, we understand.
Yes.
Her daughter, Michaela. Maybe tell her a little bit about Michaela, and then I want to see which borough are they from? From New York.
All right, sounds good. They said it was closest to home. That makes perfect sense. So are you in from Brooklyn? Oh, wow. Good question. Good question. All right, so you're in Queens. Praise Allah. You said to say something about like Michaela.
Melanice and Michaela, I bet you will be fast friends.
So we have two Michaelas, so that we have Sister Michaela Jordan Eel, who is the older of the Michaelas, and then we have Michaela Serrano Bay, who is a little younger. She'll be 5 soon. Sister Michaela Jordan Eel, how old are you? 6. All right, and your brothers?
10 and
Thank you so much. I knew the sister would know. She remembers and she keeps everything up to date and together. I appreciate you. So we definitely appreciate that energy exchange. I'm gonna still just give this time over to the secretary. I do know that we need to be able to get these financial reports minutes in.
Islam. Praise and honors already given. Praises to Allah, honors to. We'll do praise Allah. Today's finance for February 5th, 2023. The monthly dues are $1, per capita tax $6, public collection $8, emergency fund $3, uplifting fund $12, the national building fund was $8, travel fund $21, local building fund $11, and the total attendance for Zoom and in person is 42, with a grand total of $70 for today. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
praise the Lord.
Islam, you heard the reading of today's financial report. What is the will and pleasure of the Moors? Islam Gershi?
Islam.
Islam.
I move that the financial report be accepted with any necessary corrections if there be any.
Islam, you heard the motion. Can I get a second? All right, I'm gonna let the brother treasurer get the second on this one. So was seconded by brother J. Jordan Ill, that the financial report be accepted with the necessary corrections. You heard the motion. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
All those in favor, please show by the Moorish way of voting. Praise Allah. All those opposed, same sign. Let the secretary note that the motion has been carried.
Carried.
Praise Allah. I'd like to thank you all for your contributions financially, of course, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I pray Allah make sure that we all travel home and make it to our destination safely and in peace. And I extend that same thought to our brothers and sisters in the meeting via Zoom. Is there anything else, Grand Sheikh?
Oh, well, praise Allah.
Out of the gavel, we're gonna be led in prayer. Can I get brother T. Berry Bay to lead us in prayer after the sound of the gavel? All rise, face the east. Heels together, forming a 90-degree angle as we repeat our Moorish American prayer after our brother Mufti, brother T. Berry Bay.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe. The love, truth, peace, freedom, and
justice.
Allah, my protector,
My guide,
salvation, by night and
by day, through his holy
through
Ali.
Amen. Islam. Oh, thank you,
She was singing for the opening.
I wanted her to sing now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Islam.
Islam Moors.
It's almost we can't beautiful voice, and we just would like to have a nice little closer harmony of a little something. You won't be disappointed. Praise Allah. We didn't tell her yet. All right. What do I ask you for? You know, leave it to your family. We got to work on that CP time. Work on it. You can sing, and I love it. Islam?
Islam.
Oh. You gotta stay on the side. All right. Islam, Moors.
Islam.
How could this be? That you love the most unlovable part of me. Of me. You help me see The only thing in life we need is purity to be free. It's amazing with you. We win even if we lose. Everything's working for our good, for always. Sing it. Allah save the day. He sent us through. He won't fail. That's not what superheroes do. No greater love. Make my heart. All I want to do is make him proud of me. I just want to love everybody like Allah. I just want to love everybody like Allah. I just want to love everybody like Allah. It come to be. The Holy Covenant is how we practice creed. Under our fig tree, we've been redeemed. Thus wisdom, will, and love is universal deed. This is heavenly. It's amazing with you. We win even if we lose. Everything's working for our good, for always. Allah save the day. He sent us through. He won't fail. That's not what superheroes do. No greater love. Make my heart beat. All I wanna do is make him proud of me. I just wanna love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like I just wanna love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like Drew Ali. Love Drew. Love everybody like Drew. What else we gotta do? We just gotta love them all. We just gotta love them all. We just gotta learn the song instead of hey, one more time. We just gotta learn the instead of hey, learn to love. It's God.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's the outro, Moors. Peace and love.